Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here and it's time for a haul. So today's haul is very eclectic and lots of different things here, so let's just get stuck in. Firstly, I'm truly an addict to Lucy Kinsley's books. I have read Relish and French Milk by her recently, and so I've picked up some more. I picked up Displacement, a travel log, which I can't wait to get stuck into. It's got her usual wonderful art style in here. This one is when she escapes the cold New York winter on a cruise ship in the sunny Caribbean when with her grandparents, I think. So that sounds really fun. And then I picked up The Age of License, a travel log by Lucy Kinsley, which again has her wonderful art style in here, and this is the set in Paris again, so she goes back to Paris, I think. We've first seen it in her French Milk, but this one is her adventures a bit later in life, so I can't wait to try this one out. And finally her latest one, which is Something New, Tales from a Makeshift Bride, which I think looks hilarious. And again, this one's art style is exactly the sort of art that I like, and it says for this one, Kinsley and her boyfriend John broke up. She wondered if she'd ever find love again. 3 years later she did, when John returned to New York, walked back into to her life and proposed. So this just sounds brilliant and I can't wait to try all three of them. Following on with the sort of graphic work, I also picked up volume 1 of Mystery Girl by Paul Tobin, Alberto Albuquerque and Marissa Louise. This has got artwork that I really enjoy, very colourful, so I'm looking forward to trying this one. And the back says, Trin Hampstead knows everything, just knows it. Ask her a question like, where are my keys, or is my husband cheating on me, or how can there be perfectly preserved mammoths in the ice of Siberia when the girl isn't that old? And she knows the answer. She's a mystery girl. The only thing she doesn't know is how she got her ability, but that's a mystery for later. The mystery for now is about mammoths. Trine knows why they are there, but surprises anyone who knows her by leaving her London-based sidewalk detective setup to go to Siberia and see them for herself. And close behind is a vicious killer who is targeting her for reasons even Trine doesn't know yet. This just sounds brilliant. Next up are a couple of books from my local library that were on sale. The first is Good House by Peyton Marshall. I hadn't really heard of this one, but it was on the rack for sale in the library, so I picked it up. It says, an educational establishment with a difference. Outside its walls lies danger, but threats also lurk within. To break out is to risk death, to stay is worse. Welcome to Good House for boys with bad genes. So this one just sounded a bit interesting, and it was very cheap on my library. I think it was like 80p. So I got it. I've been meaning to read some Brent Weeks, and so I finally picked up The Black Prism, and so I will be giving this a go. It's a start of quite a long series. It says, Guile is the prism, the most powerful man in the world. His strength, wit and charm are all that preserve a tenuous peace, yet prisms never last, and Guile knows exactly how long he has left to live. When Guile discovers he has a son born in a far kingdom after the war that put him in power, he must decide how much he's willing to pay to protect a secret that could tear his world apart. And I think this is the Night Angel trilogy, is it? No, this is book 1 in the Lightbringer trilogy, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. A few people recently have been talking about this author, and I've wanted to give her a go for a while too, and that is Patricia A McKillop. And I picked up this bind up of 3 of her books, In the Forest of Seer, Alphabet of Thorns and The Bell at Sealy Head. I really like these sort of yellow bind up books that they've been doing, and this is apparently an ideal introduction to the lyrical work of 2-time World Fantasy winning author Patricia A McKillop, one of modern fantasy's most impressive and sophisticated voices. So I'm looking forward to trying this and seeing what I think. Next up are a couple of random books I picked up. The first is one I picked up in a bookshop when I was on holiday, and that is called Songs About a Girl by Chris Russell. This is a YA contemporary story about a girl who I believe is a roadie for a band, and oh no, the band's photographer, and I just think it just sounds interesting. It's like a romance, and I've heard really good things about it, and I just thought the cover looked good, so I picked it up. Next up is a book I've been hearing wonderful things about, and that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is a great book, very, very read, and it says, "Are you happy in your life?" Those are the last words Jason Dessen hears before the masked abductor knocks him unconscious, before he awakens to find himself strapped to a gurney surrounded by strangers in hazmat suits, before the man he's never met smiles down at him and says, "Welcome back." In this world he's woken up to, Jason's life is not the one he knows. His wife is not his wife, his son was never born, and Jason is not an ordinary college physics professor, but a celebrated genius who's achieved something impossible. Is it this world or the other that's the dream? And even if the home he remembers is real, how can Jason possibly make it back to the family he loves? The answers lie in a journey more wondrous and horrifying than anything he could have imagined, one that will force him to confront the darkest parts of himself, even as he battles a terrifying, seemingly unbeatable foe. So that just sounds brilliant, and I've just been hearing rave reviews about this, so I had to pick it up. And then finally, one that sort of piqued my interest. I was browsing in a shop, saw it, read the blurb, and just thought, yeah, I've got to pick that up. And it's called A Very Special Year, and it's by Thomas Montessor. And I think it's very pretty. And I thought from the front, oh, this might be about a bookshop. And it is. It says, on a quiet back street in a sleepy town, there sits an old bookshop, or rather an emporium of reading delights. For in this bookshop, there is a novel that has a particular hold over its readers. A novel with an ending that changes depending on the reader. For young Valerie, who's just inherited the shop after a sudden and very mysterious disappearance of her Aunt Charlotte, the books amount to nothing more than a badly run business, one she intends to bring some order to before selling it on. But soon the little shop begins to charm and seduce Valerie, and when an enigmatic customer appears and asks about the novel with no ending, the magic of the shop is unlocked, and Valerie finds herself swept up in a narrative she never imagined possible. A Very Special Year has captured imaginations around the world and is a delightful and charming tale about the magic of bookshops and the pleasure of reading. I just think that just sounds awesome. So I'm really excited to try this one. So that's all the books that I've bought recently. Any of these sound like books that you might like? Let's chat in the comments as always, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.